Welcome back to On the Job. On today's episode, we're at Biscayne Fire Rescue and we're interviewing firefighter Jessica Cejas. Let's go. Welcome back to On the Job, Alumni in Action. Today we're back at Biscayne Fire Rescue with firefighter Jessica Cejas. Jessica is an MDC Fire Academy graduate from class 21-150, a firefighter paramedic who started her adult life on the law track, made a life-altering pivot after one ride-along, fought through one of the hardest setbacks this job can ever deliver, and came out the other side stronger. Her story is about knowing when to change direction, refusing to quit when the job knocks you down, and what redemption actually looks like in the fire service. Jessica, welcome to On the Job.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, let's get this started. So like every other episode starts, it's about getting to know who Jessica is. So let's start from the beginning, Little Havana.
Yes.
All right, so
Born
Little
and
Havana.
raised.
Born and raised in Miami, grew up in Little Havana.
Yep.
You're the oldest of three sisters.
Yes.
What was that house like growing up? Tell me about your early,
Crazy.
life.
Nothing. Born and raised in Little Havana. Lived a block away from Cazola's. That was the thing. I'm the oldest of three girls. I love my sisters immensely. They're my life to this day. My parents are amazing. Love them. And yeah, that's just been basically, that's my life. That's my core right there.
What elementary school did you go to?
I went to Jose Marti Elementary and Middle. It's a very small private school on Coral Way and 32nd Avenue-ish.
And what's your nationality?
I'm Cuban, but I'm like second generation American, so my parents were born here as well.
Okay.
So I'm a little gringa, you know?
Okay, cool. So after middle school, you went to Coral Gables Senior High School. You graduated in 2016.
Yes.
Then you went straight to Miami-Dade College,
I did.
but for an AA in pre-law.
Yes, in pre-law, yes.
At that point, what was the plan?
So at that point, I think fresh out of high school, I was working for an attorney, a family attorney. And I was his personal assistant. I was working with my mom there as well. She was his legal secretary. And nothing, I thought that was it. I loved that job. I saw firsthand what he did, and I fell in love with the law field. So I was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. I want to become a lawyer.
Okay, so working along your mom in, she was a legal secretary, you were her assistant. For someone who didn't know where their life was going, and it sounded like a pretty solid path.
It did.
So how long did you do that for?
I did that for, because even throughout my whole fire experience, I was working for him. So I did that for maybe 7-8 years, around that ballpark. I did work for him a long time. So I thought that was it. Even throughout my fire career, I'm like, I'll bounce back to this maybe. But never, I don't think that's coming to fruition ever.
No?
Nah, I'm good. I like where I'm at right now.
Okay. 7 or 8 years in that field, having that focus of, man, I'm going to be an attorney.
Yeah.
You're going to practice a certain type of law, and you were kind of set, but then one phone call changed everything.
Oh, yeah. So,
one phone call. Walk me through the day that your uncle called you about your car.
Yes. So I had to get my car fixed. My car was like tremendo beater. And he said, hey, why don't you bring the car to the station to get it fixed? And I was like, sure, because I was going to Inter-American for one of my classes at the time. And I said, sure, I'll come over there, to Station 7, City of Miami. And I was like, sure, yeah, no problem. He's like, hey, while you're at it, why don't you do a ride-along, a civilian ride-along? And I was like, hey, why not? Like, it'll be fun. I did all the paperwork I was supposed to. And that day completely changed the trajectory of my life, basically.
Let's talk about that. So your uncle, right? Your uncle has close to 27 years on the job with the City of Miami, Station 7 in Little Havana. When you showed up that day to get your car fixed and he said, do that ride along, were you expecting your uncle to ask you to do that, or did you just, I mean?
Not really, no, because he, I guess, I don't know. I guess he just said it out of just like, hey, why not?
Why
You
not?
know, because I think he had like a feeling like, I don't think not that I would fit as a lawyer, but he's like, explore your options. See how you like it. You know, if you like it, cool. If you don't, whatever, keep going the way you're going. So it was more of like, see if you like it, you know?
Step through the door, see if it works.
Right.
If it doesn't, walk right back out and keep going on your path of
Exactly.
law, right? So,
Exactly.
all right, so let's talk about it. You came back from that shift
Yeah.
and told him, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
Talk to me about what specifically flipped that switch, changed that
That-
mindset. What made you feel that it's clear that you're going to be a firefighter?
So that shift was probably one of the busiest shifts. We had maybe 2 or 3 cardiac arrests that day where I worked alongside my uncle, you know? So I came back and I said, yeah, this is what I want to do. And he's like, are you sure? Because I promise you, it was like 2 weeks after I walked the stage with my AA diploma for pre-law. She's like, are you sure this is what you want to do? You have to start from zero. You have to start basically from scratch in the program, you know? And I said, yeah, this is what I want to do.
That's a big commitment, big pivot,
is.
because
It is.
you spent years of doing the pre-law stuff.
Yep, 2 or 3
And
years.
it took one ride to change all that hard work. Not that it was lost hard work, but
No.
but you were certain that
Yes.
this is it. Okay, so he was apprehensive at first.
Yeah.
You walked across that stage with your AA. What was that conversation like with him? I mean, it can't be just like, I'm sure.
Yeah, I basically said, like, this is it. This is what I want to do. He's like, are you sure? Like, of course, like, he supported me no matter what. So he's like, I'll support you. You know, I'll go through this with you, but are you sure this is what you want to do?
Now, the conversation was not just with him. What about your parents?
Yeah, my parents were, again, very supportive, but very apprehensive as well. You know, they were scared for me in a sense. They were like, are you sure? You know, this is not an easy job. Like, it's going to be really tough. And I didn't care. I was like, this is it.
Stubborn.
I was very headstrong in that sense. I was like, this is it.
All right, so the decision is made.
Uh-huh.
You're pot committed, you're ready to go.
Yep.
You decide to go the medical route first. So
Yes.
first responder, then EMT, then paramedic, before you even went to the academy. A lot
Yep.
of people go straight to fire. Why did you choose the route of going medical first, and what schools did you go to for your medical training?
For medical, it was purely Miami-Dade College. I did everything there, first responder, EMT, paramedic, everything.
What was
I'm
your
an
experience
MDC
like?
girl.
What was your experience like?
It was great. I loved my instructors. I'm still friends with them to this day. It was a full circle moment at that point because my instructors during paramedics were the instructors for my uncle when
Okay.
he went through Miami-Dade. So they knew me, they recognized me, and it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. They're very knowledgeable, and I would say that my knowledge is purely based off of them. I give them credit 100%.
Why did you choose the route of medical first, not going with fire?
So I asked around. I asked everybody because I wanted to go the correct route. You know, I wanted to make sure that I was doing this right. So I asked everybody. I was like, hey, like, what's the right thing to do? Especially after EMT. I was like, do I go fire? Do I go paramedic? And everybody, the majority, said go paramedic because you would seem more, I guess, desirable for departments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you're a medic, it's a done deal, you know?
Especially here in South Florida.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's not that it's the correct, there's no
No,
wrong route.
there's no wrong route.
But
yeah.
if you're able to get EMT into fire, that's great. You know, it's
Yeah.
hard to get into the fire academy,
Yeah.
but if you don't pursue the medical aspect, and the paramedic aspect is highly sought out because South Florida departments hire 99%,
Correct.
you have to be a paramedic. So you did it
Correct.
correctly.
Yeah.
All right, so you started paramedic school. Let's talk about that. 2019, and then
Yeah.
boom,
Boom.
COVID hit, right? We don't
Had-
want to go back to those days, but
Yep.
walk me through what it was like, what experience was like, and were you were training in medicine during a medical emergency and pandemic?
Yeah. So around that time, I started paramedic August of 2019. I was getting into P2 around that time when COVID hit, and it threw an extreme curveball in the whole program. Not to their fault, you know, it's just something that we've never,
Life.
or that they've never experienced, you know? So I essentially had to take a pause, not willingly, in the whole paramedic experience, in the whole paramedic program. And it took forever. I didn't get my paramedic certification until March 2021.
Okay, so let's talk about it. March
Yeah.
21, what did that moment feel like after everything COVID
Oh my
put
gosh.
in the way? I went through paramedic school at a normal time, and
Right.
it was tough.
Yeah.
Tell me what it felt like accomplishing that.
So relieving, because when you get that paramedic certification after that amount of time that passed, I was just like, oh my gosh, thank God I have this certification in my hand. Because also at the time I didn't have a job.
Oh, wow.
You know, the attorney that I was working for didn't feel safe with me going to paramedic school, doing the ride times with Hialeah, and then going to the office job with the whole COVID thing happening, which understandably so. He was an older gentleman. He didn't want to get sick. I was around sick people all the time. So I didn't blame him. I was like, yeah, you know, of course. So I was without a job. My family was supporting me. Again, my core, love them. So I needed that paramedic certification to get the job that I wanted in order to, you know, start paying for my stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
To achieve your goal.
Yes, exactly.
So after you got your medic, so with your medic in hand, the next step was Fire Academy. You
Yep.
applied to MDC Fire Academy in December, and you got accepted to the summer 2021 class.
Yes.
You ended up in class 21-150.
Whoop, whoop.
First day was June 10th.
Yes.
What do you remember about that specific
Oh,
day?
I remember it being extremely hot. Extremely
We're in July right now. It's
hot. Yes, I remember being on the Diamonds. I remember being in a parking lot in formation, getting into our groups, getting into our squads, and us going extremely ham on the PT, and then standing in attention, waiting for us to be called on, and then just having someone just pop, just hearing someone completely eat the concrete, passing out.
locking their knees.
Oh my God, terrible. It was really, really hot.
Now let's talk about your lead instructors. You had
Yes.
two phenomenal lead instructors,
No, amazing.
Troncoso and Chief Martin from
Yes.
Sunrise. You described them as the angel and the devil.
Yes.
Break that down for me.
So Chief Martin was the angel on my shoulder, and then Troncoso was the devil on my other shoulder. He knows. He was amazing though. Both of them were extremely amazing. And we knew who was good cop, we knew who was bad cop, but they were both extremely knowledgeable in everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you were the class kitty manager.
Yes.
Now, for people who don't know what that means in the Fire Academy setting, can you explain it? And then after you explain the kitty manager job in the Fire Academy, what came along with that role?
So essentially, as a kitty, I was in charge of going to Costco every 2 weeks, getting all the snacks, getting all the drinks. The electrolytes were extremely important. With my class, it was the Uncrustables. I would have to get Uncrustables like every week, and they would wonder where the money went. I'm like, it's the Uncrustables. Everybody's eating Uncrustables. And then I was also in charge of something very important every morning, the coffee.
The coffee.
Cafecito.
Cafecitos.
They would purposely put me out of formation in the morning to get it done. I was special in that aspect.
You're going to have to make me some coffee later
I
to see
will.
how good
I
it is.
will.
to
I
see how good
promise
it is.
I will. But Troncoso would pull me aside and he's like, hey, you know, forget all of this. Go inside and make us coffee. We need coffee. And
And
I'm
now
like,
let me
yes.
explain the kitty manager aspect, what a kitty is. A kitty is a fund that the students get together and they put money towards it. And for example, they put $5 every month and they get X amount of money. And with that money, they buy snacks that they keep inside the class. And then that's how they hydrate, they fuel up during breaks, and they have
Yeah.
something to, you know, replenish their energy. So you were in charge of that. It's a thankless job.
It
I know
is a thankless job.
I know it is. Trust me, I'm very familiar with the kitty. But that's a great role. It came with that. It came with that perk of, you know, making coffee. You got to know the instructors. The instructors got to know
Yep.
you. Troncoso was a big on PT. There was a
Yes.
run called the Run of Opa-locka.
Yes.
Now, where nobody got left behind. You said
Yep.
you were always right behind him during those runs.
Yes.
What did that say about where your head was at?
I was very physically, like, not the top, but not the bottom either. I really tried my best to be right next to the instructor because I knew I wanted to strive to be the best. But Troncoso always humbled me in that sense. So when he would see me behind him, be like, there's people back there that are not catching up. Go around and go to the back. It was like I forget what it's called, the bunny.
Yeah, run forward, come back, run
Yes.
forward, come back.
Yes. So in a sense, I rode this high where I was always right next to him, catching up, keeping up with him. Because on top of that, he's a phenomenal runner.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh yeah, go in the back.
Let's go.
You're only as best as your weakest person.
Now you entered the academy focused almost entirely on the medical side because that's
Yep.
all you knew.
Mm-hmm.
When did firefighting itself start to get its hooks in you?
Yeah, so of course, when I went in there, I was all medical, like gung-ho medical. Sadly, I just went into that saying, hey, I just need to get this done so I can go to the firefighting, you know. But I ended up loving it, you know. I ended up loving the ropes and knots. I ended up loving the big three, you know. It was fun. It was nerve-wracking, but it was fun. I had to test my physicality in a way where, like, grabbing ladders was unknown to me. It was the first thing to me and it scared me, but I had to overcome that and get comfortable. I was just getting comfortable with being uncomfortable with certain things, you know? And it really made me go outside my comfort zone and love the fire aspect and love the physicality of it. And yeah, I grew accustomed to it.
For a young lady watching this right now,
Yeah.
applied to the academy,
Yeah.
is facing, next class is starting, what piece of advice would you give that young lady right now that you wish you would have received?
Work out more, get stronger. In my personal opinion, it's not about how strong you are, it's about how long you could last. So I got really comfortable with like HIIT exercise, running. I was running like crazy in the academy, doing high intensity workouts. So I really just didn't stop.
Okay. So
I wasn't the strongest. I will say I was not the strongest, but through technique, through your instructors, through learning how to do stuff, and then learning just never to give up, that really got me through Fire
Perfect, 'cause
Academy.
that leads us into the next question.
Yep.
You mentioned you could barely do 2 pull-ups.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
But you also said you'd rather die trying to
Yep.
get someone out of a fire than leave them, right? Where does that
Exactly.
mentality come from?
So again, through Fire Academy, I learned camaraderie. I learned no one gets left behind. And again, I wasn't the strongest girl there. I was not, I was learning all of that. I was learning how to be a firefighter. So they would really put me in a position where like, hey, your buddy's in there dying. What are you going to do? Are you going to leave them there? I'm like, no, I'd rather die trying. I'm going to get them out of there. So again, Fire Academy taught me that the perseverance and die trying, because you're not going to leave your family there, your brother in there, So
That's what we teach.
yeah, absolutely.
Now, you described a bond your class formed as trauma bonding.
Yes.
You still talk to
Yes.
those women and gentlemen to this day.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean to you? And explain the trauma bonding.
Yes, so the trauma bonding is basically going through all that hard PT, all that, the newness of firefighting and being like, what is this? My group of girls there, I'm still super close to them. I love them to death. We all basically got into that Fire Academy green. We didn't know anything about it. And we all essentially trauma bonded. Like, we didn't know what to expect. We were learning off each other, techniques off of each other and all that. And even with guys that were there that, again, didn't know anything, we all bonded over basically the newness and the hardness of the Fire Academy. Yeah.
It's definitely not easy.
No, it's not.
Now, you graduated the academy,
Mm-hmm.
and the real test begins, right?
Yep.
So you're working 2 jobs at the time.
Yep.
Lifeguarding and medic work
Yes.
while applying everywhere.
Yep.
What was that grind like of putting in applications to?
It was different. You know, I applied to obviously every department, known to man, even, you know, to the county, to Hialeah, to Key Biscayne, to the city of Miami. I knew I wanted to be in South Florida. So, and down here, it's not easy. You know, it's a very hard process to get, to even be considered a part of the application process. So it was rough. It was not easy. It was tedious because you'd be given like these forms that were like this thick and they had to be written a certain way with a certain ink and all the good stuff. So it was rough. It was rough, but I really tried to organize myself in a way where it would be easy.
Okay. Now, you got hired with the city of Miami.
Yes.
For someone from Little Havana whose uncle has over 2 decades there,
Mm-hmm.
what did that mean to you?
It was like a dream come true. That was my dream, to work in the city, to be with my uncle. You know, they're like the cowboys of South Florida. So that was my goal. And then I obviously did the ride times with them as a civilian. So I knew the ins and outs of being part of a crew in that department. And that was my dream, to be on a truck with my uncle as well. That was it.
Okay, so during the City of Miami Academy,
Mm-hmm.
you got sick, your body wasn't recovering, you hit 40 demerits.
Mm-hmm.
Without going into, you know, specifics,
Mm-hmm.
what was happening with you physically during that period?
Yeah, I was sick as a dog. I even lost my voice. I was coughing up blood. It was not the best experience, but I had that mentality of like not giving up. I was very stubborn. I didn't let my body recover, so I was just very headstrong, and I was like, I need to do this. I need to finish this. I'm not giving up. And it backfired on me completely. It was really bad.
Okay. Now, you received an offer from Miami-Dade County while in
Yes.
that academy, and you turned it down.
I did.
What was going through your mind when you made that call?
Again, that was my dream. And I am not the person to give up. I'm not the type of person. I'm also very loyal. So I was very loyal to the city at that point. I didn't want to give up. And again, that was my dream. So I stayed. I told them respectfully, I declined. I'm already in academy. I'm hired. I made the decision to stay with them, and that was it. They let me go from their process.
Okay, so when the demerit issue happened and you decided to resign,
Mm-hmm.
what did that moment feel like? What was the first thing that went through your head?
It was heartbreaking. It was like the biggest letdown ever. It was soul crushing. It was like, what do I do with my life now? You know, like, is this meant for me? Like, what do I do with my life? Is this really like, is this it? Like, is this it? Like, do I just give up here? I hit the lowest of lows at that point.
You mentioned something
Mm-hmm.
that your biggest fear was that you had made your uncle look bad.
Yes.
And how did he actually respond to that?
Obviously my initial
Well,
reaction, yeah.
Hold that thought.
Uh-huh.
Hold that thought. Let me do something. Somebody's texting me real quick. So, you said, like I said, biggest fear, make your uncle look bad.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you, how did he actually respond?
Mm-hmm.
It must have been a tough feeling.
Yeah, it
How
was.
How about instead of telling me, telling him?
Yeah. It was.
He's right there.
Shut up.
Surprise.
What are you
continue.
doing here?
Rory, take a seat.
What are you doing here?
Surprise. How's it going?
Come on in, scoot over.
That is
scoot over.
crazy.
Scoot over. Ven pa' acá. Let's get him in the frame. Ven pa' acá.
So
We're in this camera right here. So,
Oh, that was, this is crazy.
You had a long road, man, and honestly,
That was
this came
terrible.
about this.
I'm gonna cry.
What did it feel like
It
telling
felt
your uncle who
terrible.
actually brought you into this field, into this career?
It was terrible. You can ask him the day that I was, I'm gonna cry. The day that I was told that I had to resign, I called him in the bathroom crying. I called him in the bathroom crying. I was like, Dio, what do I do? What do I do? Like, this is like, what do I do? Like, do I talk to somebody? What do I do? Like, this is my life. Like, what do I do? And he said, don't worry. Like, we'll figure it out. This is not the end,
Lori,
you know?
you remember that day, I'm assuming?
Listen, every time I got a phone call from her, I always said the first thing I say is,
Uh-oh.
what's wrong? Every time. But this was one, every time it was a joking kind of thing. And this one was, I knew something was wrong. It was like in the middle of the day.
It was in the middle of the day.
During 40 hour, like, during training time. I had a feeling. And of course, it was something that, no one wants to hear, but, it's something we have to deal with. Like, of course, she was dealing with a lot during that time, like going through getting over COVID and stuff like that, and it was rough for her. But I knew right there, I said, okay, we're gonna keep going forward. We're not gonna quit. And I knew she needed some time to process everything. So we I let her take her time, process everything, and then we revisited it, and this was definitely number one option.
Now, you were a pivotal moment in her life, and we spoke about it on the phone, right? What made you call her to say, hey, come to the station and fix your car? Do you remember?
He doesn't even remember.
No,
I
do. It really was just come fix the car. But at the same time, I really don't know why I said, hey, you want to come ride? And it's just something that was taught to me. It was something like the whole pay it forward kind of thing. So the minute when I rode at the station, I had guys that were so nice to me and like always encouraging me to come back and ride again. And hey, kid, hey, come back and ride and this, that. And I always said to myself, I would always pay it forward to the next person. Doesn't matter who it was. And so I just said, you know what? Hey, you want to come ride? And we got all the appropriate paperwork, got everything done so she could be an observer, and had her dressed the appropriate way. And she came by, dropped off her car, and then she went, I think, on a few calls that morning, and they were pretty intense calls, and which I thought she wouldn't be able to handle. And she said, I love this. And I said, okay. And sometimes you have, there's that story that a kid goes up to his grandpa and says, Grandpa, teach me how to be cool. And he says, kid, I can't. Either you got it or you don't. And just for this particular job, she has that it factor. It's intangible quality that you can't measure. It's just, you see it when you see someone and that like, oh, this person's good for the job. And all I had to do was tell her she loved it. And I said, look, these are the things you need to do. And she said, okay. I didn't have to push her. I didn't have to make her do it or be on top of her. A few times. But overall, to get everything done, like, okay, you need to go to school and do these things, or you need to work out and do these kind of workouts. And she did it on her own. And every day I would call her and it's like, oh yeah, Theo, I'm setting up this, I'm calling the school, I'm setting this up, I'm going to the gym, I'm working out, I'm running. And I said, of course, like you said, I had to like push her for a couple things because of course there's things that you have to teach, and things that I was taught, like I said, pay it forward. So guys would teach me things and, certain things, and I did the same thing with her. Of course, like I said, a lot of things she did on her own that, as you know, there's a lot of people that you want them to be a fireman or a paramedic and you try too much and it's just not something they want to do. Sometimes it's more like you want them to do it.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. And she pretty much, I kind of did that little push and she went on her own and I said, fly Pelican, fly. And she did on her own.
You were a pivotal moment in her life, and I think she is extremely, grateful that you did make that phone call that day.
I am.
So.
How proud of you are
Stop.
of her for reaching, because that moment of leaving city of Miami, dream department, and her, I can't even imagine picking up from all that hard work, paramedic school, EMT school, fire academy, hiring processes, interviews, all this, going through the academy, and then all of a sudden hit that wall.
Yeah.
For her to pick herself back up and end up right now sitting at Biscayne Fire
It's the same
Department.
thing we just talked about. It's her it factor, the tenacity that she has to push forward. Like, I didn't I know there's people out there that would hit that wall and just go in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
And you know, because it's hurtful for a lot of people. Like they just can't, you know, face it. And she faced it. Like she really does face it head on. And she's like, yeah, I did bad in this, or I did good in that, but I wasn't good enough, or whatever. And she faced it, and she knows what she does. She gets back up on her feet, and she goes forward. And that's the kind of mentality and kind of people that we want on this job.
I'm assuming that's a family trait of yours, because I also do my research on you, and you before I even ask questions, I already kind of know the answers. That's how I am. But it seems to be a family trait or a quality that's probably brought up in your household from early education.
Yeah, my parents always pushed us to always, you know, go to school, education, and you know, basically never give up. I mean, hopefully that's all the parents' jobs out there. You know, always push their kids to strive.
Yeah.
And like we said, some kids take it to heart and they do it, and some don't. But yeah, I guess it was everything in our life. You know, our parents gave us a lot of love and support, and that really trickles down. And so we trickled it down to them too. And her dad, and also gave her a lot of support. Her mom too, and
they all did.
Everybody did. And so, yeah.
while you got your uncle here, anything you want to tell him?
Oh, I don't know what I haven't told him. I don't know what I haven't told him. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful, because I really would not be here without you.
You'd be sitting behind a desk in a law office right now.
I would be in a law office right now.
You did it all on your own.
No.
You did it all on your own.
All with help, really. And the city of Miami guys that were there as well, Chief Captain Joey, everybody there, really.
And you know what's unique? That even though you left the city of Miami on those terms, you ended up in a brother-sister department that actually works hand in hand with you. So
Correct.
your dream actually did come true.
It did.
And
It
in
did
my,
in a
in my
way.
opinion, you're in a better place, because you're running
100%.
slower, you're running less calls.
I get the
But
cake and eat it too.
And
you know?
and you have the ability, correct me if I'm wrong, but the key
Absolutely.
guys and girls can work at the city of Miami.
Yes.
I don't
we
know
have that program where we work together, where they can flip-flop and they can ride with us. And vice
So
versa.
technically, like you said, you got the cake. And
Yeah, I've been on a truck with him already,
Yeah,
so
we've
it's
ridden together.
it's
and,
been
yeah.
best of both worlds. How does that feel, actually having her on a truck with you?
It's great, and at the same time, it's like I feel like she's like my kid too. So we've gone on some calls where it might have been the big one, and so I'm excited, but at the same time, I worry. And it's like, you know, when you go on those calls with your coworkers, you're kind of like, okay, we're gonna have this big fire, and like we're gonna do what we do. But then I start thinking of other things when we go together, like, is she gonna be safe? Can I let her go on her own and go into this building X, Y, and Z? And yeah, so I guess it's like a parent's like kind of like intuition, kind of like feeling where it's like, but you got to let that go.
As a senior fireman, I mean, that's kind of what we develop over time. I'm a rescue lieutenant. You're a driver and all that. But we take this, you know, the younger generation that comes on. Our job is to make sure that everybody goes home next shift. So that mentality is something that's ingrained in times of service. I'm at 24 years. You're in the 26, 27. So it's something that you're gonna eventually, you know, adopt as the young generation comes onto your department and you develop and grow. Any tips and tricks that you've given her that you can give our audience while we got you here on camera?
Well, listen, it's always about life safety and property conservation, but it's the life safety of, I think, our guys first, our boys and girls. And I mean, this is something that's been repeated all the time, but it's like, make sure that everyone comes home. Everyone's got a family, and I think that's it. Just always when we're going to a call, we have to overthink it and be safe and always make the right choices, and the right choices have to be, again, us first, and then life safety towards the community and the preservation of the property. You know, but I think that's the right order to go, because if we can't take care of ourselves,
we're no good to the public.
No good to the public.
Exactly.
And that's always my number one thing, whether it's her or anybody else. I'm always thinking about, like, okay, what are we going to do here? What's the safest way to do this? And the right way, we can be aggressive, because in the city we're known as cowboys, you know, and other departments too. But it's like, okay, we can be cowboys, but like, you know, sometimes it's not worth being the cowboy.
Absolutely.
You know, we have to do the right thing for everybody.
Absolutely. All right, my brother. Thank you for the appearance,
My
Jess.
gosh.
This was all planned. Trust me.
I see that.
I'm sneaky. Plus, you know.
Maybe dress up early, okay?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Getting off shift, too.
You're gonna hang
That's
out. We'll
great.
talk after.
Yeah, sure.
All right, awesome. We'll continue. We got a few more minutes, and I got a few more questions for you, and then I'll
Yes.
meet you upstairs in the kitchen. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Theo.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Surprise, huh?
That's crazy.
Make it happen.
Behind my back.
So he got to experience that failure, but you know that could have been the end.
Yep.
And honestly, after that resignation, you went back to working at the ambulance.
Yep.
And you started reapplying. You applied to Hialeah and to Key Biscayne.
Yep.
What was that mindset going back? Put yourself back there.
To get to that point was not easy. Like I said, it was a point of like, is this meant for me? You know, should I continue? You know, all of that stuff. And my current fiance and my uncle really, really pushed me to be like, hey, this is not the end. Like, do not give up. We will help you. We will support you no matter what, you know, but get on that horse again. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I can't let this define me. You know, I didn't want to be defined by my failures. I wanted to be defined by my accomplishments, my success. So, and I also, like, not to get sentimental, but I was thinking about my sisters. I'm like, do they really want to see their older sister give up on her dream and then not continue? You know, like my sister gave up, you know? So I didn't want them to look up to me or to look at me and be like, oh, she gave up. I wanted them to look up to me and be like, that's my big sister. She did it, you know?
That's awesome.
So there was a lot going through my head at that point to continue.
Now you applied to those departments, and you know that you went through some panel interviews, and later you find out that some chiefs threw your application in the trash because of your history of what happened in the city of Miami. How do you sit in front of a chief in an interview and answer honestly about what happened to you and those setbacks? How do you own that? When you said get back on the horse, and you know you're back at it again, square one. How did you deal with that?
So I always learned that, or throughout the process of that honesty is the best policy. So I was just forthcoming and honest with everything, with my answers, with everything that happened to me. You know, I told them everything. I'm like, hey, listen, I demerited out because of so-and-so reason, but I've gotten better. I'm here. I'm continuing. I'm not giving up, you know, and up until the panel, because we did the City of Miami PAT for Key Biscayne. So I proved to myself, I was like, hey, I'm here. I passed everything. So I'm not giving up. I've gotten better, and I want to strive to be better, you know, for the department, for myself, for my family, in every aspect of my life. And I think the previous chief really appreciated that, and every other department as well, because I got that question everywhere. You know, like, what happened to you in City of Miami? So I was honest. I let them know what happened, and I told them, but I'm better. I've become better.
You met the standard.
Yeah, I met the standard, and I'm not giving up, you know? So I think it worked.
You know, I have a mentality that I tell my guys, it's lead, follow, or get out of my way.
Yep.
And you have that same, because you fell down, you got back up, you met the standard, and you approach the problem again with honesty, ownership, not making excuses, just saying, hey, life happened, it is what it is. I am not giving up until
I'm here.
Exactly. So Troncoso was another instructor that went to
Yes.
bat for you.
Yes, he did.
He put in some good words and told them you were a great firefighter. What does that mean to you, having an instructor like that from our academy believe in you so much?
It meant the world to me. Again, because we have a lot of Hialeah guys here, so when I had a Hialeah guy as my reference, obviously they
Not just any Hialeah guy.
Not just any Hialeah guy, okay?
The
Let's
legend,
get it
the
right.
alligator wrestler.
The legend, okay? And he really batted for me. You know, he talked very well about me, and I called him afterwards. I was like, thank you. And also, just to get it straight, City of Miami also spoke very highly of me as well.
Okay.
They had to call over there, obviously, to reference, like, hey, what happened to her, all that. And they had nothing negative to say about me either.
Well,
Yeah.
You didn't fail because of, academics,
No.
lack of trying.
No.
You just had an episode in life that sickness,
Yeah.
illness. I mean, we're firefighters now.
Yeah.
If you're sick, do you come to work? Can you perform?
No.
So, I mean, I can imagine. And the city of Miami, for those watching, the city of Miami is a phenomenal department with tremendous history, traditions, and just, I mean,
Amazing.
like they say, jam up, right?
Yeah, jam the jelly tight.
Yeah, so their recruit class is intense. I
It
know
is.
a lot of
It is.
the instructors over there, the cadre, a lot of friends at that department, and I see what they go through. So
Yeah, it's
imagine
hard.
getting sick through that academy
It's not good.
is not easy. So
It's not good.
now, Biscayne hired you in 2023.
Yes.
Class of 6. That's unusual. They usually hire 1 or 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think got you in?
A mixture of hard work, going through the process. I think it was purely just everyone speaking great about me. And then I also really not that I showed interest, but I really wanted to be a part of this department. It was like a secondhand dream in a sense, because I knew they were a sister department of the city. So I really wanted to prove myself to them. I was like, hey, this is it. I was also told that this is they told me the quality of life here is amazing. You don't run as much, but you have a sense of community here. The citizens love us here. I've experienced that firsthand. And the calls here are in a sense, either really intense or just,
You're in a
calm.
unique area because it's an island.
Yes.
You're by yourself. You do got the city of Miami backing you if
Yep.
there's a high-rise fire and things
Yep.
like that. But for the most part, at the beginning, you're alone. It's
Yes.
just your
Yeah.
guys here, and
Yeah.
there's nobody coming for
Nope.
10, 15 minutes probably because they got to cross that bridge.
At least 20 minutes.
Yeah, and imagine if the city's busy and you're getting a far truck. So, yeah, this is, like I said, it could be slow, but it's
Yeah.
when those calls come in,
When
they
those
can
calls
be
hit, it's
serious.
intense. Yeah.
Now, where do you go through the academy when you get hired here?
So, Key Biscayne kind of tail-coded off of other department processes or academies. But since we were on the bigger side, 6 people, we kind of had our own academy.
Okay.
We kind of, again, piggybacked off of certain departments for burns. So we went to City of Miami a couple times for a couple burns. We mainly used City of Hialeah's training grounds because they had their own Proby class, their own recruit class going.
I'm at the Gables and we do the same thing.
Yeah. And I know that one of our previous classes with Lozano, they went through that class, that Key Biscayne class went through the Coral Gables Academy.
I remember.
So it really all depends, but with ours, we kind of had our own. We kind
Well,
of
6 people is not,
Yeah.
it's enough to run a class.
Exactly, and we did go off some of Hialeah's stuff. We did do burns with them. We went through some POs with them. It was fun. It was truly fun, yeah.
Now, your uncle, being a huge part of your life and your career, pinned you at your graduation at
Yes.
MDC, which we didn't talk about,
Yes.
but he also pinned you again here at Key Biscayne.
Yes, he did.
What did that second pinning, knowing everything that happened between those moments, feel to
It
you?
was a full circle moment. It was finally it kind of went semicircle and then back and then went a complete circle around. It was great. It was fulfilling, It was finally, I'm finally, not that I'm finally making him happy, but I'm finally making our dream come true,
Well, you succeeded at what you wanted to do, and at the same
Yes.
time made him proud since he was the inception of
Correct.
you becoming a firefighter.
Yes.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now you're on the job, and it looks a little different than anything you trained for.
Yes.
You came from doing paramedics, ride-alongs in Hialeah, in the city, 20 calls a day. You get to Key Biscayne, and it's one station on an island. What's that adjustment like?
It was an adjustment because I was so used to the corre of the station. My first shift here, we maybe had 2 or 3 calls all day, and I wasn't used to it. I felt antsy because again, as a rookie, you're kind of expected to do certain things. You're expected to run around, but there's a period of calmness, nothing to do, kind of.
You got time to lean, you got time
Yes,
to clean. So
yes,
this station was
exactly. So
spotless.
I just kept myself busy, you know, and another huge adjustment was like being that person on the truck. Like I was so used to being a rider and leaning on the other paramedics there and having 3 people in the back, including myself. So the first call that I ran, like I was like, oh crap, like it's me. Like I'm that person in the back of the truck now. Like they're looking to me now. So that was a huge adjustment as well because I wasn't used to that. But yeah, it's a change. It's a big change.
Now you described the camaraderie here
Yes.
as a family, right? Annoying brothers,
Yes.
crazy sisters. For people who only know big departments, what does a small department life actually feel like?
It's it's arguably like a lot better. There's like 40 firefighters in total in the whole department. So I know everybody. Our group chat has all the firefighters in it. So you see everybody. You see people getting off, you see the people on your shift, and you see the people getting on. And it's literally the whole department. Like you see everybody every day, essentially. And it feels like a family unit. Like the people on my shift are like brothers. Like we fight like brothers. We fight like family, you know, we get along like family. We got each other's back like family. So there's no better way to describe it like a family unit in a sense.
And it's very, come to think about it, I just had like an epiphany. I was like, man,
Yeah.
honestly, I've worked at small departments, but every department I've worked at has had 2, 3, 4, 5 stations, you know?
Yeah.
This is a one station
Yeah.
department, and it makes sense. You see the off-going shift and the ongoing shift.
Yep. And your shift people.
I'm on shift and I'm at a certain station, and small department. Coral Gables has 4 stations now. I honestly don't see the guys and girls at station 1, 2, or 3 because now I'm at this station. So
Right.
that's actually
Yeah, you see everybody.
Yeah.
You can't escape anybody here. It's like if you're annoyed with a certain person, you're gonna see them. Period.
Yeah.
End of
You can't
story.
avoid- you can't avoid that
You
one.
can't avoid them.
Now, you're a reserve driver right now.
Yes.
Your lieutenant's test is coming up. You're
Yes.
studying.
I'm not studying for lieutenant, unfortunately. I think you have to be like a certain
So
amount of years.
you haven't met that time
No,
yet? Okay.
no.
Now, what's your timeline then? Are you going to study for the next one?
Yes, hopefully. With
Okay.
I think in the next 2-3 years they're gonna do another one.
Every 2 to 3 years they do
yes,
one here?
yes,
Okay. All right. And now you teach EMT on the side.
yes, I do.
Where do you teach, if you don't mind me asking? And pursuing a teaching in Miami-Dade EMS, I heard is
Yes.
something you're interested
Yes,
in?
I teach at ETA at the moment.
Okay.
And I strive to teach at Miami-Dade College as well. I just
Your
love.
alma mater.
Yeah,
where
that's
you
my
come from.
alma mater. That's my dream. So it's great. I definitely, that's my end goal, to be at Miami-Dade.
What draws you to the instructional portion of the field?
Because I feel like the instructors made my experience as an EMT, a paramedic, enjoyable and just overall like great, you know, like I loved my instructors in a way that they inspired me to want to learn more and become better as a medic. So, and I want to be that for somebody, you know, I kind of want to be that instructor that they're like, oh my God, they're great. I want to be like them. So it's like that. Like I have an instructor that I look up to, Johnny Fernandez. I don't know if he still works there. I look up to him and I am like, he inspired me to become a better medic. So I kind of want to be that for somebody as
You
well.
want to leave it better than you found it.
Exactly.
And pay it forward, like your uncle said.
Exactly. Pay it forward.
Now you're recently engaged, planning a wedding,
Yes.
building a career at the same time. How do
Yes.
you manage all this?
Ugh, right now it's so stressful. Planning a wedding is not for the faint-hearted. It's terrible, but I know it'll be rewarding at the end.
Good.
Teaching and doing the engagement planning, the wedding planning, and then working here, obviously. It's a lot to juggle, but
Is your fiance a firefighter?
yes,
Where
he
at?
works for the city of Miami,
Oh,
actually.
Keep it in family.
Yep.
All right, cool.
We're intertwined. City of
Nice.
Miami can't escape me.
Exactly. You weren't taking no for an answer there.
Nope.
Now, let's finish it off, right? So if you could go back
Mm-hmm.
and talk to the version of Jessica who was sitting at home after resigning from the city of Miami, what would you tell her?
I would tell her, get up, you know, keep going. Don't be in this rut, you know. everything will be okay in the end. Because I am so grateful to be where I'm at right now. I couldn't have imagined it going any differently. I have a bunch of people telling me like things happen for a reason. God is working in the way that he needs to, and you're in a great position. This is exactly where you are supposed to be. And I think I would tell her that.
You know, I recently listened to something, I remember a podcast I was watching, and it was, it's okay to grieve.
Yeah,
You're gonna go
100%.
through. You're gonna go through things in life that, you know, you're gonna fail. You're gonna have breakups. You're gonna have this, but grieve it that one day, and guess what? That's it.
Yeah.
Get up. Get after it. Go
Yep.
get it. If you want it, it's available. You just gotta not get stuck in that rut.
Right.
And I'm happy to hear that. You know, you took your time. You grieved it. You
Yes.
processed it, and you said, you looked in that mirror and you said, you know what? This ain't stopping me.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Now,
Yeah.
last question. I leave it. Usually, every candidate gets a similar question. You still got a long road ahead
Yeah.
as you progress through this career. When you reach retirement or the end of this road, when someone says your name, what do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for? I want to be remembered as, that's interesting. I think I want to be remembered as someone who was hardworking, tenacious, stubborn, really wanting to just get after it, because there's certain, you know, it's really easy to get complacent in this job. And I don't want to be that person. I want to be that person that just continues to work, strive to be better. Any of the programs that come here, I want to make them better, show them the ropes of what it means to be a firefighter and how to become a better firefighter. So I don't know. I think I just want to be remembered as, like, when they look back, to be like, yeah, Jessica was solid. She taught me certain things that I carry on me to this day, you know? I want to be an officer, you know, so maybe in that aspect, maybe a good leadership role, maybe, oh, she was a good leader. I don't know, but maybe someone to look up to in a sense.
Good.
Yeah.
You got a long career ahead of you.
I do,
And you got a bright future ahead of you. So before we close, I always take a time to thank Chief Carlos Paul Noel at Miami-Dade College Fire Academy, President Vasquez from the North Campus, and thank you to Biscayne Fire Rescue for allowing us to come into your house and highlight these amazing people that work for your entity. Jessica, thank you for being on the job. So,
Thank you
you
for
know,
having
your
me.
story is one of the most honest ones we've had so far on this interview. You didn't have a clean path.
Nope.
You hit a wall that would have stopped most people, and you came back anyway. You, not because it was easy, but because you couldn't picture yourself anywhere else. That's what this job asks of you, and you completely answered it. Now, to everyone watching, if you're in the middle of a setback right now, take notes. This is what it looks like to fall down and get back up. So thanks for tuning in to On the Job. We'll see you on another episode. My name's Carlos Martinez, Jessica Cejas, Biscayne Fire Rescue, MDC Fire Academy. Peace.
Bye. Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Awesome.